take projection.
It's Friday morning, and you know what that means. It's time for another episode of the Alabama Slam Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Hanna.
What's going on, guys? It's Patrick Akers.
And let me go ahead and apologize for us being off last week. That's on me. Week kind of got away from me and had a lot of work stuff to get done and still didn't get it all done. So even with taking time off to not doing the podcast, I still managed to not have enough hours last week. So I apologize for that, but we're back and we're gonna preview Wrestlemania and try to get into a little bit about what's happened the last couple of weeks, but we probably won't do match recaps like we normally do, but let's just go ahead and get in. Dynamite was last night, and Adam Cole made his return to the ring in a pretty good match with Daniel Garcia. Did you catch the people? I guess they've still been doing it every once in a while, chanting, "You're a wrestler" to Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, I caught that.
Yeah. It's good to see Adam Cole back. What did you think? Did you have any thoughts on Dynamite in general last night?
Nah, I mean, Dynamite, listen, the over at WWE, they have all the momentum for this weekend, right? Because it's the biggest event of the year coming
For
up.
sure.
It kind of felt that way a little bit on Dynamite too. Like this was just kind of we'll put a show out, but we're obviously not the main focus this week. Last week was Omega and Vikingo, which was just, good God.
Fucking insane, yeah.
Yeah, it was just crazy. And, a lot of the indie stuff will have some shine this weekend too. GCW, their collective is going on right now as we're talking. It started today. So, yeah, AEW just kind of felt like, spin its wheels a little bit. We got a good little segment between MJF and Jungle Boy. And then, of course, the big thing was Adam Cole coming back. We've talked about for a while AEW in need of that super over babyface that the crowd gets behind. Could Adam Cole potentially fill that role? It seems as if they're trying to push him that way. We'll talk about AEW All Access, I'm sure, the debut episode of that show. But he might be the guy. He's a super talented guy. It's been away now for almost a year, right? It was like 10 months, something like that.
Yeah, they said almost damn near 9 months.
Yeah, so it was good to see him back. The crowd was hyped to see him. I don't know about you though. I do not, and maybe I'm just a hater. I don't know. I am not in any way, shape, or form excited about a Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho feud.
Yeah, when he came out last night, I was like, well, I guess this is where this is going for the next 6, 7, 8 weeks. That's not real thrilling to me either. I was kind of hoping they put him in a different direction on his comeback,
But I mean, I get it. You want him in some high profile program. Jericho's a guy that Adam Cole can go up against, and Jericho can eat a pin and put Adam Cole over. Because you would have to think at some point we're going to get some Adam Cole versus MJF. Could Adam Cole be the guy that beats MJF at the end of the year to take the belt from him? I mean, he's certainly a possibility. So yeah, I guess you got to try to figure out some creative ways to keep everybody up and keep everybody hot until you get there. But yeah, when the Jericho doing the long stare, I was just kind of like, oh God, here we go again. And then I guess the other big thing, right, was the return of Bryan Danielson as a heel.
Yeah.
Picking on beating the shit out of Kenny Omega and the Elite.
Yeah, I was a little sad that he went that direction, especially after coming out the way he did. But, it looks like one of the Bucks is out with the for real injury and the other one has a fake injury. But they're saying that they're both injured is what I read late last night. So,
yeah.
But supposedly he's going to be back working like with like at least on the show, not probably not obviously not wrestling with
Yeah,
the torn bicep, but so that'll be interesting to see what happens there. And Callis got for real injured last night. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah, it sounded like he hit something.
Yeah,
Popped his head when he took the shot from Moxley.
yeah,
Moxley's in no fucks given mode right now. Damn the CM Punk Instagram post, which I'm sure listeners probably heard about or saw while we were gone. John Moxley going on Renee's podcast and basically clearing the air about everything and saying how, like, he loves AEW, but it has the most bullshit drama of any place he's ever worked at.
hmm
Uh, so yeah, he is in full blown just kind of scorched earth, fuck everything mode, which I'm kind of here for it. I told you I thought Blackpool Combat Club, they all work better as heels, and I'm excited to see Danielson back as a heel. He was doing tremendous heel work before he kind of got thrust into this babyface role, which I was trying to think today. How did we even? I don't even remember how we got to MJF versus Bryan Danielson. It just seemed like it happened. Like I don't even remember what the impetus for that was, but yeah, I'm down for a Blackpool versus the Elite. There's 4 BCC guys, so that would mean what? That's Omega, the Bucks, and Hangman.
yeah,
So
yeah. You got to
could
get
be
those
cool.
bugs healthy though. But yeah,
Yeah,
the Callis thing, like saw him hit, and he was kind of laying there with his head down close to the ground, and they cut away to Mox and then from it, and they cut back to Callis, and he sits up, and he's just like just blood fucking everywhere. I was like, okay, well you know he cut himself while he was down on the floor, but then the articles come out today, they're like, no, he was for real, had a huge gash like that happened. It wasn't planned.
yeah, yeah.
So
You usually when you gig yourself like that, it usually doesn't come that much that fast. Because I mean, we were talking about that was probably what 5 seconds
yeah.
between the 2 shots when they panned down to him. So like, yeah, it's yeah, it sounded. I went back and watched today. It sounded like he smacked something. I don't know what was behind him.
Yeah. So I want to get into All Access unless you've got other thoughts on AEW from the last week or so. We said, I think I said earlier that we probably won't get into all the matches and all the recaps because we missed a week. So there's a ton of shit that's happened in terms of actual matches in the last couple of weeks. But I definitely want to talk about All Access unless you got some other stuff to cover.
No, yeah, let's get into it.
So, mm. Well, I mean, I've got my thoughts for sure. I thought one, I've slowly been coming around to Britt Baker lately as the character, but like after seeing her on the show last night, I've got like a whole other level of respect for her. That I wasn't. I mean, I figured they were going to lean on the her and Adam Cole story a lot last night, which they did, which was good stuff. But the other thing I want to say, well, a couple other things, is the Sammy and Ty Conti story didn't really do much of anything for me. And I kind of wanted there to be another story sort of happening there. Like it was just kind of about those 2 stories all night. And I'm hoping they'll bring more people in on the following weeks. Like, because Sammy Guevara is not going to carry this show for me. I mean, what are you thinking about last night?
So I guess first off, we got the big bait and switch because everyone was like, "Oh, are they going to talk about or show any kind of footage from Brawl Out?" Which they didn't even mention by name, right? We
Yeah,
didn't
they're
get
just like,
anything.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I thought the Bucks were the weakest part of the show, honestly.
Oh yeah, there was that whole story with them.
Yeah, I think that all that could have went away. Like you said, Britt Baker is the star of the show. I mean, she is absolutely perfect for reality television. She knows how to ham it up. She knows how to seem genuine. I just the whole time I was watching the show, I was like, she's fantastic. Like, yeah, like fans are gonna fall in love with her all over again. And then I don't know if you laughed out loud, but when the garage door was opening up to reveal Adam Cole, and they played his fucking theme music. I legitimately laughed out loud just in my bedroom. I was like, what this is the dumbest and yet most awesome thing that is happening. But I think it's very telling that we didn't see Adam Cole in AEW All Access, right? We saw, what was it, Austin Jenkins?
Yeah, I had no idea that that was his real name.
And so, again, I think this is a very smart play by AEW and the producers of this show. If you're looking for the next big baby face in professional wrestling, here's a guy that's coming off a real injury that threatened his career. If you look at the upcoming trailers, we're going to meet Austin's family. Looks like his mom is going to be crying. Like, we're in for some really good television here. And I think it's a very smart play. I think they're trying to do something similar with Sammy. We've talked about all the potential that Sammy has, but there's just something off about him. His character, rather, I should say. So I think it's also a smart play to get him into this show. Now, whether it's going to pay dividends in the same way that I think Adam Cole's story will, that remains to be seen. We got some more episodes to go here. Looks like Sammy's going to get emotional. I thought Ty Mello came off looking really well during this show, getting in more of her background. So I think it's cool that they have another hour of content, and it's a smart choice on their part to have it be something different. That's not just wrestling. And again, like if you're talking about trying to get casual fans, Total Divas, people gave that show hell when it first started up, but it drew a lot of casual fans into the WWE universe. There were a lot of people that became fans through that show. And so I think in that respect, having somebody like Britt Baker be the star of the show, which she is this, like, I know the Young Bucks are the EVPs and like they started the show, but like just look at the time commitments of that hour show, right? It was 30 minutes of Britt and Adam, and I think that's a good play. That's a smart choice on their part. I like the show. I'm intrigued by it. I'll keep watching.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I do hope that they get some interaction with other wrestlers and tell some other stories that are happening, because the Adam Cole thing, like, they showed the preview with him being wheeled in a wheelchair with basically a sheet over his head or whatever.
Yeah.
So that whole thing seems like that'll play out fairly quickly because, well, I say that, but like there was about a month between when he was back on air versus when he had his first match last night, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's got a lot of potential. I mean, I love a good behind the scenes thing anyway, so that's right up my alley.
Yeah, and we saw some, and it's cool just to watch the show and see who's like hanging out in the background, right? Like I noticed Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus just has to be like just fucking so upset that he literally now has to wear this mask all the time, right? Because there was already so many wrestlers that had vlogs, and now they have reality programming. So now he was just in the background, like with the mask on. Everybody's like, drinking Diet Cokes and shit. He's just hanging out fully in gear.
Yeah. He hadn't been on the show since Jungle Boy whipped his ass, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's been a hot minute.
We got some Eddie Kingston stuff too. Little smidgen of it. Obviously Ruby Soho and Ty Mello's relationship's going to get some play this season.
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
So, and then we have Thunder Rosa, that was a big thing. We didn't even mention that, but the whole Britt angle revolved around Thunder Rosa and that whole division seemingly, I guess to put it casually, not being big fans of Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, it didn't look like anybody was trying to come to her basically to come to her aid in defense last night. Like, yeah.
And again, how much of that is real feelings? How much of that is, hey, we need some kind of juicy angle here for the reality show, so let's play up this a little bit. We always got to keep that in the back of our mind too. I mean, it's reality TV and pro wrestling have about the same amount of reality in it, right? Which is that both of them are built on complete lies. So they go hand in hand with each other.
A couple other things too. Like there was a total Cody erasure. Um, and I mean, on the one hand, I kind of get it, but it was like the Bucks from the car, like, yeah, Tony wanted to start this company,
Yeah.
and he got together with this. I'm like, okay, well, sure,
Yeah. It's like there's another dude that's about to headline WrestleMania that had a big hand to play in that too.
yeah. But the other thing too was last week, after all the effort that they made to put cardboard boxes and shit in front of CM Punk's face on the side of the truck when the ambulance was there hauling away the Bucks, there was Punk right on the side of the truck last night in the All Access show. I was like, did they just not think about it? Like, I thought that was pretty funny. They could have very easily blurred that if they went through all the effort to block him out of being on the show last week, or at least his face on the show.
Yeah, but if you blur it though, that's all anybody's going to talk about. They're not
Yeah,
going to talk about the show. They're going to be like, "Oh my god, what does this mean?"
true.
And you want people talking about, "Oh, Britt Baker's really good at this show. Oh, Adam Cole is a sweetheart, and everybody's rooting for him." That sort of thing.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about Kyle Riley. Also, like,
Yeah, and his injury is, not, you don't want to play whose injury's worse, but like, who knows when Kyle's going to come back? He had neck surgery. He's nothing to mess with. We've
yeah,
seen wrestlers here recently, Saraya, Edge. They've had to have neck surgeries, and they have just now had to come back from early retirement. So, yeah, hopefully Kyle's able to come back.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, they didn't really give any sort of timetable on him last night.
No.
Um,
Mm-mm.
I think that's probably most of the bases covered on that from the first episode.
Do we know how many episodes it's going to be?
I don't know.
And is it still filming, or have they wrapped the? I guess it probably is still filming, right? They just like you mentioned, the Adam Cole stuff was only a month ago.
You would think it would be ongoing, but I thought they'd start farther back, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they only started full gear was
Yeah,
not long ago.
because you're gonna have to start turning around edits pretty quickly if you don't have other stuff sort of backlogged.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so do you want to move on to WWE stuff? Like we can kind of preview a little bit of WrestleMania. Probably don't want to run through all of it because we'll turn around next week and do the recap. But we finally got Rey Mysterio putting hands on Dominic.
Boy, that crowd was hyped as shit when that happened too.
Yeah, yeah,
They were so ready for it. I think even Michael Cole let out some kind of inaudible, just like scream. There was something weird. There's some kind of weird sound thing when Ray hit Dominic that they didn't play on the WrestleMania, didn't play on the replays rather that played when it happened live. So yeah, I don't know if Michael Cole got giddy as hell, but yeah, that's a huge match that fans are going to be really excited for. Did you happen to see the lineup about what's going on Saturday and what's going on Sunday?
yeah. And look, it's not my show, and I'm not the guy in charge of booking it. And I get why you put John Cena on a poster, but if Cena and Austin Theory are headlining Saturday, that's some bullshit.
It's certainly out of all the matches that are there on Saturday, outside of like the weird showcase match that's kind of just been thrown together, it's the one that has the least amount of juice.
Right.
Um, but is John Cena on the graphic at the top just because he's John Cena? And, I think even somebody said today on Twitter, like, no, I'm still hearing that like John Cena and Austin Theory are going to open the show, which I think is a perfect spot for them to open up WrestleMania. Saturday night, I think still should be the tag team match between the Usos and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That's the second biggest story in the company.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and even Mysterio and the Mysterio match is or match to me would rank higher than John Cena and Austin Theory.
It certainly has more story behind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, John Cena is a superstar, right? Like,
Yeah. I ain't trying to argue with that.
yeah.
I just saw the poster, whatever they call them, the lineup for Saturday and the lineup for Sunday, and I was like, "What the fuck is what? Are you serious?" But just because it's listed this way doesn't mean that's the way it's going to be.
Right. And I think
Um,
Saturday, if we get all those matches on Saturday, it looks like Saturday to me, at least wrestling wise, is probably the stronger show, right? I think Saturday also had Seth Rollins and Logan Paul on it.
yeah. I mean,
Let's see if I can pull it up here real quick.
yeah,
And
I've got
see.
it. I've got it. So Cena in theory,
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair versus Rhea, then the Usos and versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Then you got Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus versus Damage Control. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. The Mysterios, and then the four-way Strowman and Ricochet versus
Yeah.
Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders. That's probably like the one. Well, not probably. That's the one I care the least about that day. Yeah, Saturday looks to be the shit.
Yeah, so that leaves what? That leaves Sunday. That leaves obviously Cody and Roman, the triple threat for the Intercontinental, and the Raw Women's match, right? Is really the only big ones.
Yeah, Edge and Finn Balor, I think will be good. Um, did you said Bianca and Oscar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I think of the women's matches for the titles, that'll probably be the better one.
yeah, and then there's Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalia and Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, and I care absolutely nothing about that set. I don't give a shit about Brock and Almost either. Um, damn, yeah, Saturday's going to be fire.
Yeah, and it could be that they're doing, Saturday. I would expect maybe is a little bit longer of a show. Probably not by
Yeah,
much, but like Saturday, people don't have to go to work the next day. All that sort of stuff like that. Uh, you know, so that could be that. But like, I don't know, man. The whole time I was watching, catching everything up, watching Raw and SmackDown and all this stuff. Uh, obviously we both think Cody Rhodes is going to come out of this champion. Uh, so is probably Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Monday, to me, the Monday after WrestleMania is going to start the real question of, okay, now Cody has the ball. Is he actually the right guy to take this over Sami Zayn?
yeah,
Because the match with Roman, I think, is going to be great. I think both guys are going to work hard. It certainly is going to have a big match feel to it. The pyro budget for the fucking main event alone, I don't even know how much. Like Roman's got a shit ton of pyro, and Cody's got like 4 pyro spots in his entrance. Right? We should have an over under. If we could bet, there's no betting in the state of Alabama, unfortunately. I would bet a couple $100 that the entrances alone for Roman and Cody combined are going to last longer than the Brock Lesnar and Omos match. There has to be a bet where someone could take that.
I mean, you about right because it's
The
gonna take Roman about 15 minutes to get to the ring.
yeah. The entrances plus the introduction alone will be 15 minutes.
Yeah, and Cody too. Cody takes his time.
Yeah, no doubt. So like, yeah, if you're listening to this and you live in a state where you can bet, find the odds if you can get odds on that and bet that Roman and Cody's entrances will be longer than the Brock and Omos match. But I mean, yeah, what are your thoughts on WrestleMania? What are you looking forward to the most out of WrestleMania? Is it the tag match? Is it the heavyweight universal match? What is it?
Probably the Roman and Cody, and then the Usos versus Sammy and Kevin. I still think Jay turns. You've been saying it all along. You think Jay's going to be the one that'll end up getting in a kick on Roman or whatever somehow, and will help Cody win or whatever. I still think I still see it happening, and I hope it happens. But you know, again, I'm not booking this. I'm interested in the Ray and Dominic thing. See how that plays out. Uh, I saw a headline yesterday. It was like, is Ray Mysterio somehow getting better in his old age? Because like he's still putting on some damn athletic spots.
Yeah, but bro, it ain't. I mean, listen, I love Rey Mysterio. He's in his 40s,
Sure.
and anybody that I get that, like, when you write articles and stuff online, like, you got to be contrarian. Anybody that could look at you with a straight face and be like, Rey Mysterio's better now than he's ever been. Bro, go back and watch Eddie and Ray at Halloween Havoc, and just quit your bullshit. You bullshitting, you is. Like, he ain't better. He's still great, still fantastic.
Yeah.
But like that shit that you saw Vikingo doing last Wednesday,
God. Yeah.
Ray was doing that type of shit. Not those moves specifically, but like he was doing the type of shit that no one had ever seen before back in the 90s. Like,
yeah,
Vikingo is straight out of the lineage of Rey Mysterio. Yeah, I mean, Ray is, you get older, you lose a step. He's still great. Crowd still loves him. Deserved Hall of Famer, first ballot, one of the best of all time. But nah, he ain't. He ain't better now than he's ever been. That's crazy.
I'm excited too to see Ripley and Flair. I think that'll be good. I think Asuka and Bianca will be good. I honestly think that'll probably be the better match. I don't know though. Shit, I think Flair and Ripley might get after it.
There's something missing with this Ripley and Flair angle to me. Like, I watched SmackDown last week, and like Charlotte had what I thought was just a not very good promo to kind of sell this. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, her and Ripley can both go in the ring. So, but yeah, I mean, when you contrast that with like how hot Asuka has been since she's come back with the face paint, and how just completely, utterly over Bianca Belair is just a damn superstar. Like, it's not living up to the hype. In terms of the women's matches go, I'm super stoked about the 6-woman match between Becky and Trish and Lita and Damage Control.
Yeah, I want to be more excited about that one, but I'm just not. I'm a huge Becky fan, and I've never really liked Bayley at all. So it will be satisfying if Becky and them get the win, but I don't know, man.
Listen, Trish Stratus holds a very special place in my heart for reasons that are probably completely obvious when I tell you that I discovered her when I was 12 years old, which was at the peak of her doing her thing in WWE. So there are probably obvious reasons why I will forever be a Trish mark. So it's good to see her back.
She's still in good shape too, man.
Oh, bro. I mean,
because I don't know shit about from 20 years ago, but like she's still in good shape.
I mean, listen, if there was a Mount Rushmore of hottest women ever, 2003 Trish Stratus is the Abe Lincoln of that category. To me, personally. I don't know where anybody else stands, but like in terms of like hottest wrestling women, she's got to be 45. She still looks like a smoke show out there on television. Like, it's incredible. We'll see what her wrestling ability looks like, but especially coming out of this, if we get like some of the rumors have been, like, if Trish ends up turning on Becky, setting up a heel Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch match leading into SummerSlam, like, yeah, I'm down for that all the way.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. And that's another thing too. We got a bunch of surprises. Are we going to see Stone Cold?
LA Knight keeps saying that he's going to have a Hollywood moment, and he's not on the card. They've clearly wiped Bray Wyatt off the card. There's been the Stone Cold rumors because people have been saying he's looking jacked again.
If LA Knight's music hits at WrestleMania, you know that then there's going to be Stone Cold is coming up shortly.
Yeah.
Or they
Well,
could just, or it could be something as weird as like fucking then Bobby Lashley comes out and just squashes LA Knight. Like, I don't know, it could be something stupid like that too, you know. But I just think being in Hollywood, having, I think this is the biggest WrestleMania of all time in terms of just like money that they've made off of it. You have to have. They already got John Cena. They tried to get The Rock. The Rock wasn't there, or maybe he is going to show up. Shit, maybe The Rock shows up for the main event too. Who knows?
yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see. And do you do that Saturday or do you do that Sunday?
If The Rock's going to show up, it would be at the end of the main event Sunday. But I don't. I think that ship is probably passed. If you had any, if there was any possible way that The Rock said he was going to show up at WrestleMania, but like he wasn't in shape enough to wrestle, if he was already committed to doing WrestleMania, I think what you would do is just write him a blank check and be like, okay, like we can figure out a way to do the match, but if you're going to be at WrestleMania, you kind of have to face Roman Reigns. Like, what's he going to take?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you give LA Knight a spot somewhere on Saturday?
yeah, I think if you see Stone Cold, it's probably on Saturday.
Saturday's going to be so fucking lit. And then, I mean, then again, we touched briefly on it, but Logan Paul's going to do something fucking crazy.
Yeah. And even the Stone Cold thing, like he could show up Saturday and tell LA Knight, like, hey, I'll see your ass tomorrow. And set up a surprise match for Stone Cold versus LA Knight for Sunday night. Like, hey, if you for some reason missed out watching Saturday, like you got to watch Sunday because Stone Cold's going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, LA Knight does kind of have that sort of Stone Cold persona going on.
And I mean, he's the type of guy that because listen, it's a lot like Kevin Owens last year, right? Like getting the Stone Cold spot, even though you're going to lose, it still elevates you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like LA Knight is the type of guy that would be perfect for that spot this year. There really is nobody else.
Yeah, and he's been getting some buzz the last few weeks anyway.
Yeah, he even got big cheers going up against Rey Mysterio. And I don't remember who he wrestled Friday, but when he came out and did his thing, like he got cheers then. Like he's a dude that will have, I think, a big 2023 after WrestleMania. It wouldn't surprise me if like he has some kind of championship belt by the end of the year.
Yeah. Do you think Gunther retains?
Probably not.
So Sheamus or Drew?
I think you see a Sheamus win there. That would be my prediction. Just you give Sheamus he's never won the Intercontinental Championship, right? You make him a Grand Slam champion.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Was they've been pushing that angle of this is the one belt he's never had.
Yeah, and like you're gonna set Gunther up to be, this is even though Gunther loses, I think at WrestleMania, it is a promotion because you are then moving him up into the main event level scene to go after a Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have him last through all the fucking Rumble to be the last one going against Cody for no reason.
No, because Cody's going to need challengers, right? If Roman's probably going to take time off after WrestleMania, who are the heels that then could main event pay-per-views with Cody Rhodes? There really is not. I don't even know who's coming. Nobody's popping into my head right now. So it would have to be like a Gunther that you throw up in there.
Yeah.
Unless you do like Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar, but I don't know. That seems, if you don't have to do that, why would you, right? Keep those guys separate.
Yeah. Do you think there's any, outside of like The Rock or Stone Cold, do you think there's any major surprises, any big turns or any like big comebacks of any sort?
I was trying to think that, but like I don't even know who would be out there other than like a Jay White. But Jay White, I think, would be he's not big enough of a name like the way Cody Rhodes was to return to WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's something you could probably do on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, that's a Monday Night Raw type of thing. Like, oh shit, Jay White's here. Like, it'll be more that aspect. Like Cody debuting at WrestleMania last year, making his comeback. Like he'd already spent a damn decade in the company before he left.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, I don't know. There's not really anybody else that's kind of out there to me.
Monday would be for the marks.
Yeah, yeah, and you bring Jay White in if he's signed. Um. Yeah, because you gotta, and then Jay White is somebody that you could throw up against Cody real quick, right? You could play on the history of both of those guys being in Japan and the Bullet Club angle and all that sort of stuff.
You got anything else from Mania, or do you want to? I think we should touch a little bit on Ring of Honor pay per view coming up Friday night. But if you got final thoughts on WWE, you can give those now, or we can move on.
I think it'll be good. I expect it to be a better show than last year.
Yeah.
Last year, outside of outside the Stone Cold Kevin Owens stuff, and there was a really good. Was it Becky and Bianca last year that was really good at WrestleMania?
That sounds right.
And then Rollins and Rhodes was last year at WrestleMania, which was really good. And then the Jackass match, Sami Zayn and versus Johnny Knoxville, which was just.
I still need to go back and watch that. I never did watch it.
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, this is shaping up to be a better event than last year's. But we'll see, And the big question, will be the real test for Cody Rhodes starts after he wins a championship Sunday night. Now, if he does not win the championship Sunday night, I will be completely shocked.
Yeah, I mean, what are they doing if he's not the winner?
Yeah, I don't. It has to be this way. I would expect that the WrestleMania is going to close Sunday night with Sammy, KO, Cody Rhodes standing in the middle, all three guys victorious, holding up their titles as we get ushered into a new era of WWE that's going to have to figure out what it's going to do in the absence of Roman Reigns, because I think this is kind of like the culmination of Roman being an everyday starter, so to speak, for WWE. He'll be a part-time guy, I think, after this.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the card for the Super Card of Honor now. Let's run through some of this real quick. Singles match, there's Tanahashi versus Daniel Garcia. Claudio Castagnoli versus Eddie Kingston for the Ring of Honor World Championship. That one could be a fucking banger. I think they'll beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, I think in terms of actual wrestling, nothing this weekend's going to top Super Card of Honor.
Yeah.
Fucking Vikingo versus Commander. Like, come on now. It's going to be wild and crazy just for the gifts alone, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if I take the title off Claudio right now. Claudio's doing good work. I think he's starting to kind of find his footing as like a egotistical, arrogant, I'm the fucking best wrestler.
There's a lot of really good shit.
It's basically just an AEW pay-per-view. That's all it is.
Yeah.
For everyone that thought like Ring of Honor was going to be something separate, it's not. It's just all the AEW guys minus like Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega and Hangman.
So they said that, or I read somewhere that Vikingo is not working with a contract in AAA right now.
Oh,
so
really?
like he's just working on like show by show basis. So he could end up jumping ship at some point. I don't know if that's true, but I saw that yesterday. You got Samoa Joe versus Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor Television Championship. And then this will be interesting. The Embassy versus AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Metallic. Who is that? I don't know him. But Blake Christian, we saw put on a hell of a show with the GCW not long ago. So that's pretty cool to see him there. And we know, he did some work with Claudio on Dark not too long ago.
Yeah, he's in a weird spot because in GCW, he's like a despised heel. And then in Ring of Honor, he is this underdog, scrappy babyface, which is a little bit weird.
That is weird.
We watch him GCW. He's like, stomping people's necks through chairs, and then he's like,
Yeah.
fighting from underneath against the Ring of Honor champion.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a dude that also like, yeah. So I'm just a little confused as to what Ring of Honor is supposed to be, and maybe it's just because I have it's my own thing I got to get over. But like, I thought Ring of Honor was going to be more of like its own distinct show that is mostly for up and coming guys with sprinkled in acts like Claudio Castagnoli to kind of anchor the show. The fucking Supercard of Honor is all dudes that we've seen on Dynamite within the past like 3 weeks.
Yeah, more or less.
The tag team matches for the ROH titles is all AEW dudes.
Yeah.
The fucking Lucha Bros are in it, and isn't Roosh in that match too?
Yeah, Top Flight. So it's Luchas, Top Flight, The Kingdom, which they haven't really been on AEW, but I mean here and there. Aussie Open, and then La Faction and Governal.
So I guess my question is, if this is how you were gonna position Ring of Honor, why not put Ring of Honor on Friday nights where Rampage is at, and just do away with Rampage?
I think ratings will go up.
Yeah, and just do that, like, because you're not doing shit on Rampage anyway. He's got 3 matches, like, and you could basically do half and half, right? You could do half of the Ring of Honor show on Friday nights, and then the other half could be you debut at Saturday morning or whatever like that. It's just I don't know. It's just odd to me that like we have a Ring of Honor main event and it's Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli, who we just saw who have been mainstays on Dynamite for the past couple of years.
Yeah. It's funny that I said, well, I didn't sign up for the Ring of Honor app yet because I'm like, well, I'm already, since I started back watching WWE again, that's more time wrestling every week, another 5 hours. And then, of course, last night I turned around and watched All Access immediately after Dynamite went off. So I threw in another hour of wrestling content. But I really want to fucking see. I just don't know. I don't know. I really want to see the Claudio Eddie. And there's some other stuff I do want to see tomorrow night, but I mean, I'm going to watch SmackDown tomorrow night, to get ready for Mania.
Yeah, and there's a lot of indie stuff, a lot of GCW stuff. Effie's Big Gay Brunch. I want to watch that. I want to watch all of the shit that's on Fight TV.
Yeah.
If you haven't got Fight TV, by the way, this is the perfect weekend to do it. $7.99. You're going to get fucking 10 shows. Kota Ibushi's wrestling. I think Tanahashi's also wrestling outside the Ring of Honor thing. I might be wrong on that. John Moxley is wrestling this weekend. So
yeah, I saw a thing earlier too. FTR and Wardlow and somebody else were all on a card doing something.
Oh, they're having a live podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a lot of wrestling content. So I guess next week we'll have our buddy TD on here for the annual big WrestleMania review, and then we'll probably have to sprinkle in. We might just go around and see, like, talk about the one match outside of WWE this weekend that we really liked.
Yeah, I'm gonna we're definitely gonna try to get TD on next week. So I don't know if I'll probably work all day Saturday and Sunday before Mania, so I don't know if I'll get to watch anything else. So you'll have to keep me filled in, and I'm gonna work until about 5 or 6 on Friday. Basically, just in time to grab some dinner before SmackDown comes on. So, if anything stands out, holler at me, and I may see if I can borrow your Fight TV login.
Yeah, it starts. Let's see. Listeners know we record this podcast on Thursday. I think the GCW stuff started at like 5:00, and it'll run all the way up till I think Sunday is Effie's Big Gay Brunch at like 10 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock, something like that, which has become like a huge event every single year, which actually has a pretty good match as the main event between Thrussie, I guess is the name, with Alley Catch, Effie, and the other person that I cannot think of their name, versus like Charles Mason. If listeners have seen him, the fucking weird like dude that's doing that kind of, he's wrestling in a suit on the indies. He's doing really good character work. They've had an angle that has been going on for months now. And I think this coming up at WrestleMania is the culmination of it. So
I saw about an hour or two ago before we started recording that they had sold out the Big Gate Brunch. So there were a bunch of tweets about that. Yeah, man. I mean, fucking great ass weekend. I'm planning on doing nothing but working and watching wrestling, and eating snacks and drinking some bourbon.
there you go.
Can't wait. But yeah, man. If y'all don't already follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Alabama Slam Pod, we got a Facebook page too, the Alabama Slam Podcast, and be sure to follow the Alabama Take. We've got sort of a network of other podcasters with pop culture podcast, music podcast, sports podcast, book podcast, Star Wars podcast. If you're interested about, Patrick was doing some writing for the site a while back. Had a bunch of essays and stuff up. And those are all still there. You can go search for Patrick Akers on the AlabamaTake.com. Follow the Alabama Take on all the social networks. They're pretty much on all of them. So yeah, man, that'd be awesome. And we hope y'all have a good weekend watching wrestling and don't get too wrestling fatigued, to come back and check us out again next week. And y'all tell us what y'all thought about All Access. Send us a tweet, and we might read some of them next week on the show if we got time, breaking down a colossal 2-night main event, WrestleMania. So you got any final thoughts before we get out of here, man?
No, happy WrestleMania weekend, everybody.
Happy WrestleMania weekend, and we'll see y'all next week.
See ya.